Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Zereth Mortis, the new zone in 9.2 Shadowlands, giving a little bit of a review and just kind of going through my thoughts on the zone now that I've been there for many hours doing the stuff that you can do there. And so let's talk about that a little bit. Starting off, we'll talk about the way the zone looks. I think the zone looks quite nice. I think it looks beautiful. I think this is one of the best zones they've made from aesthetics point of view since maybe Mists of Pandaria. Not that they haven't made good zones, but just this one aesthetically is very pleasing to be in. Also, if you play with your sound off, the music is also quite good as well. In Zereth Mortis, I normally play with my sound off as well. No judging there. But it is quite good. So if you are bored waiting for treasures to spawn or killing a rare spawn or whatever, maybe turn on your sound while you're there. It is quite good. So it has like they're going for maybe like a Negron type look because of the floating balls in the sky, and I do kind of agree with that. But I think the thing that's kind of actually been critiqued, or the thing that is the least beautiful, is actually something that they did the best at, and that is the just like the pillars, the rocks, whatever, how they are like just hexagons and stacked on top of each other, and then or just giant hexagons stacked on top of each other. And this is just trying to get, if you ever played HeroScape or whatever, I'm sure there's other tabletop games that are similar that have like the hexagon board, and it's clear that they went for something like this to kind of show that it was like put together, right? It was built, it was stacked up, and then everything else was added on top of that board. And like the first ones created this board, and I thought they did a really good job of conveying that. And then like the textures are really low on those as well, and that's what some people don't like about it, but it's actually, I think, what they were going for. And if I'm right, then I think they did a really good job by it, because that was the first thing that I thought of when I saw it. I thought that, wow, they did that really well. So I think the zone's going to look even better once we're able to fly in the zone. But overall, I think it looks great. I think the creatures in the zone are really neat. Some of them are more neat than others. Some of them are mostly the same as maybe some creatures we've seen. Some of them are much different. I think a lot of like the big constructs are cool. So like the big orbed constructs, even some of like even some of the bad guys are pretty cool as well. Just in general, I think it's really cool. I like the whole orb theme in general. There's a bunch of orbs there, and I think that's all pretty cool. So beautiful zone. Maybe probably the best in BFA. Mechagon and Azratar were both really good zones that came out at the same time. But I think like the consensus thing is, if like you had the coolness of Mechagon, but like the size and the maybe the look of an Azratar, that would be like better. And I think that Zereth Mortis actually kind of encapsulates that, because it has a lot of the same things that you can do as in Mechagon, or similar things that you can do from Mechagon, but it's just big, expansive, beautiful zone, more like Nazjatar, and frankly, I think even better than Nazjatar, in my opinion at least. So that's about it on how it looks. Generally, just a really good grade there. I'd have to go back to Mists of Pandaria, maybe like Timeless Isle or something like that, to get something that was this nice. So next up, let's talk about some of the stuff you can do in Zereth Mortis that kind of makes it cool. So there is some rep stuff to do. They've really toned back the player power in the zones, and like the needed grinds. There is some rep stuff you would have to do though, on multiple characters. Not much there is account wide. So there's a rep to get like a conduit catch up thing. However, if you do play your alt at a high level, you can get the highest level conduit catch up thing from the Covenant vendor or whatever. So you'll be able to get that for like Anima from the Covenant vendor, something like that. Once you complete one of the end game achievements, like Keystone Hero, that's probably the easiest one for like any player to complete. Once you complete that, you're able to just catch up your conduits that way. If you don't play your alts at a high level, though, you will have to get some rep. It doesn't hurt. Just doing the zone in general is also how you would get the catch-up gear. So you would naturally get some amount of rep anyways in doing so. Also, there's like some the legendary patterns, I believe you have to get up to like honored with them for. Again, just kind of doing the stuff there, you'll get up to honored. And then I'm not sure about the Memory of Unity, if that's account wide or if each character has to unlock the Memory of Unity. They could get a huge W if that's just account wide. I believe I read that it is, but I did look at the tooltip and it didn't say anything about it. So we'll see on that. It would be a huge W for Blizzard just to make the Memory of Unity, the player power thing, account wide. But I don't know if that's the plan or not. Otherwise, you would have to level up to at least Revered on alts. So generally good, but still some maybe hiccups as far as player power locked behind a zone. But there's plenty of other stuff to do in the zone. There is catch-up gear right away for Anima that's account bound. You can get up to 226 item level on your alts immediately if you have Anima on your main, which you probably do if you've been playing the game. Anima's pretty abundant at this point in the expansion. You could just get like a full set of gear for your alts to 226 or fresh 60. Just get them to 226 right away, ready to go. The conduit thing, if you want to get it through them, you do have to get to friendly. So you would want to like not skip the quest line to get into Zereth Mortis on your alt. Go in with your 226 gear you just got, and then you could upgrade all your conduits to 226. However, if you did want to skip, and you could still just go get your you have a main character in this scenario because you're getting the the gear sent to them. You can still just get the 40 renown thing and the 200 eye level conduits from Oribos. There is also another vendor in the Pilgrim's Paradise or something like that it's called, on the east side of the map. This vendor has 242, I believe, gear, 246, somewhere around there, 246, 242 epic gear. And this is kind of like the catch-up, like the casual grinding gear. Now these take these Sandworn relics, which are actually really hard to get. So, it's not the best system. I think that there should be a better way to grind the Sandworn relics, and maybe there is as you open up more of the story. Maybe you can farm them a little bit easier, but they are a bit hard to farm. You can also upgrade the actual zone gear, which has its own rewards for outdoors content. So this is for like non-endgame players, right? You can upgrade this gear, I believe, later on as we unlock more stuff in the zone, and they have like cool effects on them as well. So that's kind of like your gear as well. So you can either like get the 240 something gear with Sandworn relics, which is kind of really hard to do. It does look really cool for transmog though. You can either do that, or you can kind of upgrade the outdoor gear there, and use that if you're not an end game player. Overall, I think it's really good. There's a lot of options there to do. And I do think as long as the relics are more farmable, because I do think that the item level of that gear should actually be a little bit higher as well, if they're going to be this hard to farm. Now, if the relics become something that's very easy to get, to where a new player or an alt could just go in there and farm them real quick and get a full set of 242, whatever it is, gear, then I think that's good. But that's yet to be seen. I don't know how that's going to play out as the campaign rolls out. Last but not least, we have the Pokepoker. I don't actually know how to say his name, but your little roly friend that you unlock in Zereth Mortis. This actually might be the coolest thing. So I wasn't really planning on using this thing very much, or like using this system very much, but it's actually quite cool. So you unlock this council, and using this, it allows you to have like this little pet with you, and the pet can find treasures for you. It can find puzzles for you. It can give you buffs. It can end up fighting for you, like taking control of wildlife in the zone and fighting for you. It can do all kinds of neat little stuff, and you can kind of progress it if you want to. This is something that is farmable. You can continue to like find treasures around the zone, and build up your I can't remember what the stuff's called, but the currency for the system, and you can farm that if you want. So there is something to farm there, but it is for like this little poke thing, and it's just a really, really cool thing. I'm actually enjoying it a lot. I found myself just going and collecting treasures to get more of that currency, so I can progress my research more and quicker to unlock more stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that I want to get. Like I want all the stuff to give me the more buffs and make the buffs last longer from the consoles, and I want I just want to max out my Pokepoke guy and make the zone just more fun for me, I guess, because I have these constant like cool buffs and all this cool stuff everywhere. just feel like very overpowered and stuff in the zone at least. So I'm very much enjoying it. You can also like change the way he looks. A lot of this stuff isn't available yet to unlock like different color sets for him and different like armor mods for him. There's not many armor mod stuff, but there are some. And then of course you can find like these little hats and stuff in the zone. My favorite one so far is probably like the tricorn hat, the like admiral's hat type thing, sailor hat, whatever. I do like that one a lot. I also do like the safari hat. I do not have the chef's hat yet. I saw a guildmate with that one. That one's pretty cool as well. But I have 3 hats total. I don't know how many total there are, but probably quite a few. So I'm very much enjoying that part of the zone. It might be one of the best parts of the zone, honestly. And this is someone, I'm not someone who's normally into that kind of stuff at all, but I find myself enjoying it because it's something to do, and I actually kind of do like grinds. So in summation, I'd give the zone overall just a very high passing grade. I don't necessarily think it's an A+. I think they missed the mark a little bit on not having everything be account wide. I think that's where the game needs to trend towards, is making everything account wide. Like they have the account wide anima gear that you can trade, but then they just draw the line after that. I think account wide rep is probably fine as well, or just an achievement for each rep, like, oh, you've earned honored, and then you have the achievement, and so then your alt gets to take advantage of that as well. I think those are type of things that I would like to see going forward. So I think they missed the mark a little bit there, but it's close. They just have to take the last step there. I've talked about that in a video before. They are close. So I think that that's a little bit of a critique. I also would wish that there was just something else, something to grind. As someone who doesn't mind grinds, I understand that most of the player base doesn't want that to be like a major player power thing. And we do have the Pokebook stuff that you can grind. That is a grind that exists. I don't think a ton of people are going to be grinding that out, but like I think the correct answer here is to have like that Sandworn gear that I was talking about being more grindable. And like I said, maybe it is. Maybe you can grind these relics more as the story unfolds in the zone, and in which case that's fine, because that's cool gear to grind. It's cool for transmog. It's good for alts. Like eye level wise, it'll get you started into the patch. But if that's not grindable, then that kind of misses the mark as well. So maybe going forward in the future, maybe something they could think about is having a grind for gear that's not as punishing as the Korthia one, or not as punishing as this one looks to be as of right now, like 300 relics for one item, and you can't really farm them. That's punishing. So a non-punishing grind, a grind that feels good, that if they want to grind for 2 hours a day, they can, or 3 hours a day, whatever that you decide. If you want to grind for that much and get an item per day, then that's fine. Don't have the item be overpowered so that, end game players are going for it, but have it be an option for alts or for players who don't do end game content to grind something that's powerful and looks cool, because the gear does look pretty cool actually. So those would be my critiques of it and why it's not like just like an A+ home run. But it is really good. So maybe I'd give it like a B or something like that. Not a tier list, so not like S, A, B, just normal grades A, B, C, D. I'd maybe give it like a B or a B+, but they just have to take that final step, and I think they can make an A zone. In the future, in 10.0, they could do this if they take that final step. So that's about it for this video. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.